Hello and welcome to my channel. This is an exciting new gear day. I've got the Quest 3. All it costs is 500 bucks and my privacy. I have had a heck of a time getting it to actually run reliably. Getting it to run the first time wasn't so bad. I'm using the Airlink cable, but I just have the charger cable dangling because battery life, you know. So I'm going to be driving a Spec Miata around Harris Hill. Let me show you the Spec Miata I'm talking about. These guys over at No Money Motorsports made a Spec Miata mod of the NA Miata that's in the game, as far as I understand it, and it's great. I mean, it's just fantastic. So if you just Google No Money Motorsports Spec Miata Assetto Corsa, then you'll find this is the first thing that pops up. Right down here at that green link, that's where you download it. And you just, if you don't have Content Manager, you can unzip that file and find your Assetto Corsa files, go into Content, Cars, and drop it right in there. And that should work. If you do have Content Manager, you can just drag and drop the zip file right into Content Manager, like what I did. So I'm going to be driving the Harris Hill Raceway mod. That is another mod that I downloaded, and I don't actually know where you can download that officially, but I downloaded it from somebody's YouTube description that led to a Google Drive file, and that I do not recommend downloading random files off of the internet from strangers. It did work out for me, and if you like, I can upload a Google Drive file for you to download that, which bonus, it will include the AI file that I've created and spent hours trying to get right. So you get to skip that part. I'm going to be driving 10 laps to give the AI just a chance to stay ahead of me. Over the course of 10 laps, it should have to overtake 17 opponents. I've got the strength cranked as high as I humanly possibly can. And the aggression is turned up to 69%. Nice. That is so that they don't jump out of my way and ruin my race by not competing. They should drive pretty close to me. Downside is they might crash into each other, drive off track, other unpleasant things. But everything's kind of just a compromise. So here we all are in the Spec Miata. It's a lovely car, so why wouldn't we all drive it? I've got a preset here, the Harris Hill preset. So that first off gives me enough fuel to finish the race. It started me off with 15 liters whenever I was doing it without my preset. Camber in the front, negative 2.3, toe 16, toe in the rear 16 as well, and camber negative 1.4, in case anybody wants to copy that setup. Now the AI does struggle a little bit at the start. They've got to go through an entire phase where they're figuring out where they are and who they are and why they're here. So that takes a second. I'll just let them get that sorted and then chase on after them. So here we are, lap 1, cold tires and AI brake checking each other. particularly good at this corner. It confuses them a little bit. Unfortunately, they don't understand that they need to brake before they get to the crest of the hill. So there we go, off-roading. One of the odd things about this mod is that the AI drive lifted Miatas, as you can see. They look like they've got some off-road suspension, so they might take advantage of that by going off-road every here and there. Now it doesn't seem to affect how they actually drive around track. I believe they're putting down a minute. Oh, I just shoved that guy a little bit wide there. I believe they're putting down lap times of about a minute 32. So they're somewhat competitive, at least enough to give you some practice trying to keep your lap times consistent. So some of the line choices, as you can see, we're a little far to the right there. Some of the line choices are based off of where there are actual bumps on the track that you would want to avoid. This Harris Hill Raceway was repaved a few years back, but it's settled out. A few places have major bumps. Going too wide with Mr. 69 into the, well, not really too wide. Let me get right around you, sir. Thank you very much. Nice. So yeah, in a few places there's some pretty substantial bumps that you just wouldn't want to go over lap after lap. Like here, we'll go a little bit wide to avoid some bumps over there. They're not actually in the track mod, but you know, you can't keep a track mod up to date with the bumps that are forming as we speak. Alright, position 11th, lap 3. Okay, a little wild there, giving some space. Right here, there is a bump on the inside that will send you skyward. And catching air in a car that has very little suspension travel, thanks for that, is not going to be something comfortable that you can put up with over the course of a 2-hour driving stint. So that's what I'll be driving, is a 2-hour driving stint in a Miata. A little different than this Miata. But it is an NA Miata. It does have tires that are similar to these tires, and suspension that's similar to this suspension, so it gives me a good practice point. But in Champ Car, which is a series I'll be driving in, you get basically a budget for modifications. So you have 500 points to work with, and every modification that you can do to your car is given a point value. So say you throw coilovers, racing suspension on, it's worth a certain number of points. If those points add up to over 500, then you have to start with a lap back or some other penalties. But we've stayed on the team I'll be driving for. We've stayed under 500 points, so we don't have any penalties to work with. And we have an Ecotech motor. So the Ecotech motor swap gives us a little more power, and we just don't have quite as many points left over for aerodynamic work. But we do have aero in the front and the back. So there's a front splitter that is brand spanking new. I actually just got a text message of what it looks like on the car because it was just installed today. So that's going to be exciting to try out. A front splitter should help get some downforce in the front and help fight understeer in the high-speed corners, as well as working with that rear wing that'll create downforce in the rear, and it should be a heck of a car to drive. And of course we've got all the best drivers on our team, so that helps too. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm the best, but I am saying we're probably going to win. But part of winning is not running into anybody else, for one. And two, being consistent with your lap times, your braking points, and everything over the course of 2 hours. So that's why I'm here, is practicing not only all my braking points and all that. They might be slightly different in the game, but I'm practicing consistency. So if I can be consistent here, then I can modify all my line choices to fit the car and track. Trying to keep hold of my momentum. Racing in a Miata is a lot about conserving your momentum and carrying it through the turns. It corners really well, but once you're out of the corner, you don't have a lot of horsepower to make up for mistakes. Battling for 8th place here. There we got it. And we're on lap 6. So it looks like things are going pretty swimmingly. So the race is actually 2 races over the weekend, right after each other. So, well, back-to-back racing days, not back-to-back races. So if your car comes out and breaks down on day 1, you spend all night fixing it for day 2. Ideally, everything's well checked out beforehand and none of your drivers break the car crashing into something during the race. There's only so much prep work you can do though, and if you're asking a car to drive all out for 8 hours for 2 days, that's a big ask. So there are so many cars that will drop out just to mechanical failure because it's such a demanding race on the cars. 7 out of 10. I'm in 6th place. Got a few positions to take over. See if I can get her done. So this is the method around this turn, is staying in 4th gear. It maximizes time on throttle, and also the other car will have a torquier engine. So in the sim, it's a little slow doing that because the RPM just isn't in the power band. Excuse me, sir. I'll just peek right on in here. That would be a pretty risky move in real life because they might not see you. You can't really assume someone sees you, especially with non-professional racing. Trying to watch my mirrors to make sure I don't cut anybody off. Heel toe action on the downshifts. Heel toe is essential because it allows you to downshift and be on the power in the right gear as soon as you're done braking, as well as, typically if you downshift without heel toe, you either have to lift off the brake, which is not good at all, or you'll pop back in gear. In a lower gear, the tires that are already loaded with braking have to then deal with extra load to speed up the engine to the new RPM, which will typically result in, if you're not prepared for it, your back tires losing traction and coming around and becoming the front tires. As well as it's just easier on the components. If you match the revs with the speed of the tires, it's just less stress. Lap 9, oh my goodness, I should be... Okay, I'm going to be using every trick in the book, dive bombing, poking the inside, everything I've got. Give me that. Oh, this is the last lap. Oh, I should have kept track of that. Gimme. I would like the position you're in right now. If you could just give me that. Thanks. Well, he's got the inside, but I'm just gonna not let off the throttle, and maybe he doesn't run into me. Okay, now you, if I can catch up to you at all, he's so far ahead. I'm gonna run a minute 29 lap, which is in this car pretty impressive, but it's just not gonna cut it. We're not going to come away with the win on this one. Oh, alright, well. I did what I could. Oh, best lap, 1:29.69. Nice. But didn't quite pull off the win. Total race was 15 minutes 30 seconds over the course of 10 laps. 1 second would have done it. Oh well, next time. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. If anything, I'll be putting out a little more content. I wasted all my money on this equipment, so I might as well. So I'll go ahead and sign off with another thank you to the creators of this Spec Miata mod. Go check it out. It is well worth the download. Anyway, signing off. See you on the next one.